Hi, I'm Jake Babson, historian here at the Gene Lloyd Cooper Archives on the third floor of the Greer Museum on the beautiful Rio Grande campus, the beautiful snow-covered Rio Grande campus. And we're rapidly approaching 150 years of the Rio Grande existence. So I thought for the first show of 2025, I would talk about 100 years ago at Rio. So we're going to flash back to 1925 at Rio Grande. Baptist minister by the name of Horace Huff was the president. He had been here the year before, and he stayed a couple of years, but he was president in 1925. There were 16 faculty members at the time. The enrollment, the first semester was 186. The enrollment, the second semester was 183, and in the spring it jumped all the way to 408, which totally defies the way we think about enrollments now. But that's because so many people who were teaching school were free in the spring when schools let out, and they were able to come and take classes to work on their four-year degree. You got to remember, at that time, you could only teach with a you could teach with a two-year diploma. Which in 1925, Rio Grande had 24 people graduate with bachelor's degrees. That was the largest graduating class in Rio Grande history at that time. But they had 56 people graduate with two-year elementary education things. So Rio Grande was a teacher's college, much as it still is. One of the things that made easier for people to come, the roads had been paved. As late as 1923, a lot of times the roads from Jackson to Rio Grande or Gallipolis to Rio Grande would be impassable because of mud and high water. The roads got paved, and by 1925 there was a paved road running to Rio Grande. There wasn't electricity. People had their own generators, and they were still carrying water, but they did have a paved road. Just as a curiosity, a one-way trip to Gallipolis cost 50 cents. So for $1, you could drive to Gallipolis and back. Or drive, it would take about 1 hour each way. Rio Grande had expanded. There was now a girls' dormitory. Davis Cottage, President Davis, when he passed away, his family sold the building to the school, and it became a dormitory for young ladies. $6 a week, room and board, and if you went home on the weekends, they only charged you $5. Tuition was $20 a term. Academically, emphasis was on producing school teachers. A Bible course was required of everyone their junior year. They had the student handbook, the rules and regulations of the school. Strangely enough, at that time, they had names and addresses of everybody enrolled in school in it, which that's hard for us to even imagine. Had the yearbook, the Grandian, which was a collection of typical yearbook things. Here's the school. Here's this picture. This was Rio Grande at the time. You had Atwood Hall, you had Community Hall, and here are the 400 or so students around. And they had a newspaper, of which I happen to have. Here in the archives, we do have a few copies of the 1925 Comet. This is from January the 17th, 1925. And it features the basketball team. Ohio University had just beaten Rio Grande by a score of 47-13. And on January the 9th, Marshall beat Rio Grande by the score of 24-23. So you had all these things. You had the newspaper. This was published 10 times a year, and it cost $8 a piece. Let's look back at Rio Grande. Rio Grande had football. Paul Line was the coach. Paul Line of Line Center fame. There were only 17 players, but they managed to go 4-4. Men's basketball went 7-5-1, and women's basketball went 2-3-1. I'm not sure how they had a tie in basketball, but the men and the women both had a tie in basketball. So that's looking back 100 years. Next year, we're going to look back to the 50 years, to 1975. And frankly, that's the year I graduated from Rio Grande as an undergraduate. So next week, we're going to just go back a short trip to 50 years. Go Rio.